so stoked for this. I have been waiting for this. This, believe it or not, has kept me up at night sometimes, which is ridiculous. But what is the best 90-ish proof Buffalo Trace bourbon? Now, I have the 3 winners of the last 3 weeks. So the winner of Mash Bill number 1 was Eagle Rare 10-year. No contest. Bowman Brothers Small Batch was the winner of the Mash Bill number 2. And it narrowly beat out Blanton's because Blanton's lacked anything on like the front of the palate. And this just came through heavy on the front of the palate. And the winner blew my mind of the Wheated Mash Bill, beat out Weller 12-year and Weller CYPB, is Weller Special Reserve. I know. And I decided, what the heck, I am going to throw in some of my Eagle Rare 10-year that I put into one of my full-size mini barrels, roasted at 400 degrees, I don't know what it was, 3 hours or something like that. Anyways, about 2 months. Went up to 94 proof. So, I'm going to nose these, let you know what I think, and you can tell Chanel that I do drink a full glass of water. Look at that. I drink lots of water, as long as it's mixed with cereal grains, fermented, and then distilled. No, I do drink a lot of water. Anyways, here we go. I'm just going to start with A. Surprise, Buffalo Trace, vanilla and cherry. Man, that's really good on the nose. I really like the nose. Heavy vanilla cherry on the nose. This one, let's see, B. That's really good. What? If you made a s'mores and you topped it with strawberries, that's what that is. That's good. Whatever that is the nose. Man. Okay, I'm getting more strawberry, or not strawberry, but cherry. Maybe a little strawberry. I don't know. Probably more cherry and earth and grass. Oh yeah, that's nice. Sweet cherry and spice. I don't know what these are. And usually when I guess, I'm wrong. I'm going to say this is Bowman Brothers Small Batch. You know what? I'm not going to say. I don't want to say it. I'm just going to go through them. I'm going to start with A. Well, what was my least favorite nose? It's one of these two, I think. This is my least favorite nose. It doesn't mean it's going to taste like my least favorite, but we'll start with it. Lots of cherry. Really tasty. Vanilla. But like a graininess and some spice. Finishing with cinnamon spice, but also like a peppery, I don't know, maybe a ginger spice. That's really good. I do like that. On the palate, I do like that. Okay, so this was my least favorite nose, but the palate, it's good. Like for a 90 proof bourbon, that's tasty. Let's try this one. It smells dark, but it's faint. So, the palate, I feel like was sweeter and more vibrant and alive, but the finish is kind of like died off. The palate was a little, it was more muted at first, but then, man, the end of the palate and the finish, it just explodes. And I will always pick a whiskey that has a better finish. Well, almost always, which to me is a sign of age, because that's what stays around. Like, I'm done sipping. Like, when I was done sipping that, I was left with just thinking about the memory of the palate. This, I'm not even thinking about the palate. The finish is still with me. That was tasty. The finish. Palate, if you could put the palate of this with the finish of that, you would have the perfect 90 proof-ish Buffalo Trace bourbon. Okay. Let's see. My second favorite nose. Man, vanilla cream, man, that's maybe some spice, like almost like a rice spice, maybe? I don't know, man. That's vanilla cream, vanilla cherry cream. The nose is really good on this. Palate doesn't deliver like the nose. I mean, it's there, but it is very just like coasting by. It has like a more of a grainy, youthful note, but it's so where this like, I'm just gonna say exploded on the palate, glass C, and then died off on the finish, glass E, was a little asleep on the front of the palate, and then it started ramping up and exploding on the finish. This just stays like medium all the way. Front, mid, end of the palate. Finish, I don't know, the finish is so-so. The finish has a little bit of a bitter note to it. The full palate is where this one shines. Okay, let's go for B, my favorite nose. It's like marshmallows, strawberry cream cheese, frosting. And marshmallows, I mean, like, think of s'mores with the chocolate toasted marshmallow graham cracker, but then with like cream cheese frosting and strawberries, like strawberry shortcake strawberries with the syrup on top. Really good. Man. Oh yeah. I'm just gonna say, without question, that is first place. There is no contest between the rest of these. First place, no questions asked. I'm just gonna put that one right there. I don't even need to go back to it. That's crazy good. Finish for days, incredible, right from the front of the palate, and it just is like loud and heavy and just explosive in like all the flavors, and the finish just doesn't stop. Man, loads of cinnamon spice and just oak on the finish. Man, that's good. If you like an aged bourbon, I'm thinking like 10 years old or older, that's your jam right there. Whatever that is. So it's a contest for second, third, and fourth right now, really, because this is in a whole nother level, whatever that is. Okay. Man, let's see. I'm going to go back and forth between C and A. The nose is definitely better on A than C. C smells like matted down grass compared to A. A is just rich vanilla, cherries, bright, wonderful. Let's do back to back. I'll start with my least favorite nose between these two. So initially the palate on this, it's just like bam, hits you, and then it fades, which tells me younger whiskey. It's just not, it's not that it's bad, it just, coming off of that, this is just like very subpar. Okay, this, there is some like white pepper spice on the finish that I'm picking up now on this, for what it's worth. Okay. Yeah. Okay. A lot of cherry vanilla. No, just kidding. Gotta cleanse my palate here. Like, I really think if you're gonna do some like throwdowns, if they're from this, especially if they're from the same distillery and they're lower proof, 4 is like the max. I mean, if you're doing from like different distilleries and they're around 90 proof, you could probably do 6 at a time and still distinguish. But like what we did the very first time, like 9 or 10, that, yeah, that's not going to give you the accurate result. Okay, D and A. Man, the nose on A, I wish the palate matched the nose, because, man, the nose just, it's so good. Vanilla, cherry, cream. It's so good. Man, the nose is good on E2. It's just darker. It smells darker and like more brooding. This smells bright and happy and just like in your face cherry vanilla. This is darker, like toasted cherry vanilla. Man, I almost still prefer the nose on A, actually, so I'll start with E. I mean D, sorry. I mistakenly wrote E on the sticker, but I know that's D. Man. This feels like a contemplative whiskey. Like, I keep coming back to this. This whiskey, this bourbon has like a calming effect, but man, it just like, it's gradual. It just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds and keeps going. The finish is so tasty. That's good. Whatever that is good. Yeah. If the nose on this, if the palate started with this nose and just kept going, these two taste younger. This tastes older. I'm going to go between these two right now. Okay. You know what? Let me first do these two. it's a contest between third and fourth with these two. No, it's not. I already know. Okay. B and D. Ooh. Okay. Better nose by a long shot. I would be very happy to have this as a regular pour. It's really good. The finish, man, just lots of good oak spice and sweet caramel and charred vanilla and cherry. But this, ooh, man, that's another level. That's like marshmallows. If you could make like a strawberry, cherry, vanilla, marshmallow, and toast it, that's what the nose is on this. It's really amazing. There's no contest at all. These three are in a different league than this. This is miles better than the rest of these. So let's start with my last place. C was my last place. It had a good nose, good palate, but I don't know. It tasted youthful, and there wasn't a lot on the finish. So C is okay. All right. Weller Special Reserve. I can't say I'm surprised. You know, when Chanel and I did the first Dram throwdown with, I think it must have been about 9 of the like 90-ish proof Buffalo Trace bourbons, our palates were just blown out, and they were all from the same distillery, so let that be a lesson. Limit your throwdowns if you can, if they're from the same distillery, to 4. If you're using whiskeys, I'll just say from different distilleries, I think you could go up to like 5, maybe 6. 6 if they're lower proof. If they're a little bit higher proof, 5. And if they're barrel proof, you got to keep it to 4. Otherwise, your palate is just, after like a few sips, it's going to be too hard to distinguish the difference. So, what is A? A is, oh, okay. Bowman Brothers Small Batch. If you can't get this, don't worry. This was 50% better than Weller Special Reserve. This Bowman Brothers Small Batch is a really good bourbon whiskey. They have one of these that's finished in, I think, port wine barrels. I'm kind of curious. I have not bought it. I've passed it up because I don't really drink a lot of 90 proof bourbons. But if you've done like a side-by-side with this Bowman Brothers Small Batch and the one that is finished in port wine casks, I'm kind of curious, like, should I actually consider buying it to compare it to like the winners here? Is it really that much better? I found that the only like fortified wine cask finished bourbons that I think are actually really good are the ones that come from Texas. Other than that, the only type of finish that I like is a double oak finish, like either a toasted barrel or a toasted and charred barrel finish. So, okay, enough rambling. E, so second place. Okay, that makes sense. This is the regular bottling of Eagle Rare 10. It's definitely better than these. I'm going to say, which, yeah. Right. Yeah. This was the first place. This is the Eagle Rare 10-year that I put in one of our full-size mini barrels for, I think it was about 2 months. This is the, in my opinion, the best less than 90 proof Buffalo Trace bourbon out there. This would be the second best. This would be the third best. But this is a lot better than the Weller Special Reserve. But if you double barrel this in one of our full-size mini barrels, this is, I don't know, 3.5 times the whiskey that this is. Like the palate right away. Like I said, the palate of this, it kind of like starts weak, and then it just kind of like, you get to the mid palate and it grows, and then you get to the end of the palate and it grows, and the finish, it levels off and keeps going. This starts out with a bang, just loads of flavor. It is 94 proof, this one, and it just goes and goes, and the finish just, it lasts forever. So there you go. Take a look in the description. You can see there is a Google Pages document how to buy the lids for the full-size mini barrels from us. Or if you want to, I also have links to videos how you can make your own lids for the full-size mini barrels. And then there's also links to Amazon. They're like a stainless Bain Marie container and the barrel wax that I use. If you use our links, I would appreciate that. Really, I'm not just saying this because I want you to buy some lids from me. Make them yourself. It's well worth it. Like, we have some E.H. Taylor single barrel. I have not put this up against it, but I bet this would go toe-to-toe with it. But stay tuned for next week, because I'm going to start telling you what I have put into our full-size mini barrels. I have 20, yes, 20 full-size mini barrels filled with different bourbons and whiskeys. And yeah, I'm excited to share that with you. And all right, stay tuned till next week. Let me know if you've done this. What do you think of these three? And if you have put any of these into a full-size mini barrel, let me know what you thought of it. All right? Until next week. Full-size mini barrels, it's the way to go.